Hello and welcome to the first installment of the Winnipeg High School Sports Show powered by Amateur Sports TV, and I'm your host, Graeme Forsyth. Today we got a great show in store for you guys, so let's begin. The playoffs are officially underway in the Winnipeg High School Hockey League, and at this time of the year, teams are competing in a best-of-3 playoff series each round in hopes to claim a league championship. Winning a championship is never an easy task, and no one knows that feeling quite like the Beliveau Barracudas. For the past 5 years, Beliveau has made it to 5 straight semifinals, and unfortunately, all have ended in defeat. Last year, the team lost in Game 3 to the Pierre Elliott Trudeau Canadiens in the semifinals in a shootout. But the most impressive thing about this Beliveau team throughout the years has been their ability to stay the course and stay consistent. Since the 2014-15 season, the Beliveau boys hockey program has fielded 3 third-place teams and a team that finished first place back in 2015-16 in the Price division. They've been a model of consistency throughout these years, and coming into this year, the Barracudas selected one of their youngest teams in school history, selecting 7 grade 10s along with 2 grade 9s. The team finished 4th place in the Winnipeg Free Press division, and the Barracudas finished top 3 in goals for and gave up the second least amount of goals in their division. What's been the most impressive thing about this team this season is the fact that they played in a weaker division last year, moving up from the Price division to play in the Winnipeg Free Press division. So to some, Belivau's success may have seemed surprising this season, but to Barracuda's assistant coach Miguel Marcoux, this was the coaching staff's expectation coming into this year. On Friday, I had a chance to sit down with Marku and get an insight about how this year has gone for his team. I'm here with the assistant coach of the Beliveau boys hockey team, Miguel Marcoux. His team coming off a big win against the West Kildonan Wolverines, winning Game 1, 3-1, and then Game 2, 4-0. So, Coach, thanks for joining us, first of all.
Thanks for having me.
Big first round series win for you guys. With the way you guys have been playing going into the playoffs, going 1-4 in your last 5 regular season games going in, how big of a confidence booster was it to get that first series win?
Well, you know what? I think it was everything for us because it showed us that as bad as we stumbled into the playoffs, that deep down we had it within us the whole time. And it's just a matter of staying with it, staying calm, getting out there, doing what you're supposed to do. We found that a lot of guys losing's tough, right? Guys turn on each other. It starts becoming more like, oh, this isn't working anymore. And the biggest challenge for us getting into these playoffs and losing the last regular season game really hurt. And so the biggest challenge for us to turn it around, especially in Game 1, was to get everyone to realize, like, if you do your job, guy beside you does his job. Like, we got this high in the standings for a reason because that's how we got there, right? And then we got the boys realizing that, rely on each other, trust each other, and we'll get back to where we were at. And we saw that in Game 1 and Game 2 especially. It wasn't even close. They played so well from start to finish. Our goalie wasn't very busy at all in Game 2. Like, we're back.
So being able to go out and dominate like you guys did that sort of ease the tension in the room between the guys?
Oh, Graeme, you have no idea. Winning changes everything, right? We're talking about smiles pre-game. We're talking about smiles in-game. No panic when it's just a 1-goal game. I know that in Game 1 in particular, we're winning 2-0, and then they came back to make it 2-1. No panic with the guys. Everyone's staying with each other, and especially winning that series finale on Wednesday. All smiles after the game. It's like these guys, I think everyone kind of came back to realize, like, okay, like, winning's fun. This is fun. Let's keep doing this.
So you guys held a practice yesterday on Thursday morning. I was there, saw some battle drills. How important do you think it is to keep that certain level of intensity going into your next series?
Well, you always want to make sure that that intensity, like fire in the eyes kind of approach, never goes away, especially in practice. You always want to preach game speed. You always want to preach the importance of practicing like you play. And I find that these battle drills, well, obviously you don't want your guys to hurt each other, but you want them to know that the contact is still there even on off days. And that way, when game days roll around, our guys are ready to go. The intensity never left because we did it the other day in practice. Like, you always want consistency, right?
Right. So I got a chance to look at you guys' roster, and it seems like you guys selected a younger bunch of guys this year. A big thing that stood out to me was 7 grade 10s and 2 grade 9s. Was there more of an emphasis on this season being a year to develop young talent, or was it just the hand you guys were dealt at selection camp?
You know what? We had, this was the most kids we ever had at camp. We were I think we were near almost 35 kids, which we've never had this many people ever come to a camp. And so we took the approach that we're going to take the best possible team. And whether that means we're front-loaded with seniors, front-loaded with grade 9s, whoever's got the skill, whoever's got the grit we're looking for, whoever brings exactly what we need is going to make this team. And as it turned out, half our team is grade 10 or younger. And those guys stood out at camp. They earned their spots. And in that regard, honestly, like how well the season went this year, it's so encouraging for next year that we have 6 grade 12 this year. And because we have 7 grade 10s, 2 grade 9s, and 4 of our grade 10s all played last year as grade 9s. So next year, we're going to have 4 guys in grade 11 in their 3rd year of high school together. And so we have this core of younger kids that are coming up, and we're only going to get better next year and in the year after that. And you would think that because we're younger that you would have less success, but there's so much skill. These kids are so good, and so they play so well together that it never mattered. The age never mattered this year, to be honest with you.
Right. So you said this was your highest turnout ever. How many kids came into tryouts?
I think we were at 34 or 35.
Wow.
Compared to the previous years where we're releasing 2, 3, 4, 5 one time was like a big thing. Holy crap, we never had this many kids. But this year, 15 kids were let go. And there's some good quality players that did not make this team. That goes to show the depth that we did end up picking. And we have 4 good lines that we're very comfortable with playing. We have 3 solid pairings. Goaltending has never been better. We have a grade 9 kid playing in net this year who had an outstanding season, considering he's playing against shots that are 4 years older than him. Like I said, these kids never flinched despite playing against older guys.
Right. So you say the interest in Beliveau hockey is at an all-time high here at the school.
I'd like to say so. I'd like to think so.
Right.
I know that a lot of kids, when they come here in grade 7, grade 8, or grade 9, whichever it is, that the hockey players tend to gravitate towards taking a look at the program, and some of them have siblings in it, and a lot of them aspire to play, which is good. And, that's how you build your program. You build it with interest, and you hope the kids keep coming back because that's what you want to see.
Right. So you guys moved up from the Press Division to the Winnipeg Free Press Division this year, so moving up a div, which is always nice to see. Offensively, defensively, you guys have had an impressive season, looking at the stats, ranking 3rd in goals for and giving up the 2nd least goals against. Was this the expectation coming into this year?
Absolutely it was. We knew that we'd have outstanding goaltending. We knew our defense was going to be good. The offense was... We weren't really sure what to expect from the offense because it's so young. Out of our 12 forwards, only 3 were in grade 12. And I think 5 or 6 of them are in grade 10. So it's a very young offense. And so it carries that unpredictability of, are these kids going to do well against these older guys? Meanwhile, our back end is very solid, and our goaltending is very solid. So in that respect, the goals against is kind of exactly what we thought would happen, because our team is very strong from the back out. But these young guys really pulled through this year with the scoring, which is why we had such a good balance of offense and defense, which put us where we ended up in the standings, right?
Right.
So in that respect, it actually went better than we thought it would.
Yeah. So would you say this is the most balanced team you guys have ever put out of the 5 years?
It really challenges the 2016-17 team we had. That team had 4 very good lines, and we also had lots of seniors up front, and our goaltending and defense. We had an older team, so it's kind of a different feel in that respect. The maturity was a little bit different. So it's tough to say if it's the best team or not, but it's definitely the best. It's the best youngest team we've ever had by far.
So Sam DePoe has had a career year in wins, and he's put up stellar numbers really throughout his whole entire stat line this season. How impressed have you been with his development and improvement throughout these last 3 seasons?
Well, leading up to this year, we knew exactly what we were going to get with Sam. His stat line to most would be very impressive to look at this year, and surprising for the kind of numbers he had this year. But to us, this was no surprise at all. We're looking at a kid who came to us in grade 10, had a very good stat line as a rookie in grade 10. We're talking about a kid who puts in the time to get better. And we're talking like on the ice at 6:15, 6:30 for morning practice. It starts at 7. So this is all voluntary stuff to get better, choosing to get better. And so coming into this year, we knew exactly what we had with Sam. There was never a question in our mind that goaltending would not be the best part of our team. And so it's one of those things where you kind of get what you put in, and Sam put in the work to be as good as he is. And so in that regard, this is on him. And you know what? We're so happy to have him carry us like this, and we can rely on a guy like that. And anybody here who watches hockey knows that goaltending can take you as far as they want, right? And with the way he played in the first round, just already, we've never felt so good about our situation heading into the next round.
Another standout has been Russell Buffy. Looking at his stat line, he's second on your team with 22 points, and he's coming off a hat trick in your Game 2 win to push you guys through to the next round. How impressive have you been with his improvement this season?
So Russell's come a long way from when we first met him in grade 9 at the rookie tournament. You're looking at a guy he's got a big body, not so much leg movements, a little on the slow side here, but decent hands, decent shot, but just he's a smart player. And that's what's been really apparent this year is how smart he is on the ice and how well he sees plays develop and anticipates plays developing. Last year, we felt as a grade 10, he had a good year. And this year, we're kind of hoping that he would kind of step into a more of a top 6 role, more of to the potential that we think he could play at. And he really delivered this year. He's really showing us his worth on the team and how good he really is and how smart he really is. He plays an excellent 5-on-5 game in the corners. He's dominant. One of the few guys we have on the team that can actually drive the puck to the net. Full protection, get in front of the net. He's a front of the net guy on the power play. Takes a beating for it, but he's rewarded with goals. He honestly, hands down, has been our most improved player from last year to this year. And we have another year with this guy. So really, what is he going to do next year? I can't even tell you, but it's going to be good things.
It's almost like the sky's the limit, right?
Yeah,
with this
absolutely.
Kid. So this has been the trend. 5 straight semifinals, no finals appearances.
Gotta remind us.
Gotta always remind you about it. But looking at your team this year, looking at just the balance you guys have, just the expectations you guys have, do you have a feeling that with everything coming together now that this could finally be the year for the Beliveau Barracudas?
Well, every year you want to tell yourself that this is the year. Over the last 5 years, we put ourselves in the position in the top half of the standings to tell ourselves that this is the year. This year, like I said, we've got all the right pieces in place to make that jump. But that being said, you don't want to get ahead of yourself too much. We've got a big round against either Glenlawn or St. Paul's coming up next week. You don't want to look too far ahead, but you do. I can say that with the pieces we have in place, the types of players we have, that I think we can. It's something that we can possibly finally get over this year, if you want to put it that way. How
much does the support of your fans and just the school in general mean to you guys as a team, as a coaching staff?
It's nice. I think this is more for the players. A lot of them feel as though they love playing at Southdale because they love playing in front of their friends. They love talking about the game the next day. They love hearing the jabs when we lose. They love hearing the compliments when we win. Overall, it just makes playing for this team that much more fun for them. Everybody always wants a big crowd at home. Everyone wants to feel like you got home ice advantage, especially in playoffs. And just the way it's been over the last 5 years, I can definitely say that for me as a coach, playing on home ice has been fun for us to watch too. The crowd chants, the crowd noise, the boys that's the kind of stuff you live for, right? You want to score that goal, you want the crowd to go nuts, you want everyone to see that big goal you scored that one time, And so in that regard, it's just been so fun for these guys to see the support here. And that's what kind of makes it more attractive to play here too, is to know that you're supported from students, from teachers, community members. It just creates a fun environment to be a part of.
Right. So would you say that home ice advantage is that much more important to you guys with the fans being out there?
I would say that's something that is definitely a factor when it comes to play, especially in playoff time. In a best of 3, you don't have much time to lose, and so if you can at least have 2 of the 3 home games, it's definitely an advantage for us.
I was at Beliveau Skate on Thursday morning, and after practice, I had a chance to catch up with their captain, Alex Thor. Alex, always big when you can get that first series win out of the way. How huge has it been for you guys' confidence getting that first series win?
Confidence-wise, I think it's great. The biggest thing in playoffs for us is definitely coming into playoffs hot, which we did not do. But these 2 quick wins gave us the extra day Friday, so we got a little bit more time to prepare for our next series. So it's definitely a big part of playoffs.
So how's the feeling changed in the room after getting that first?
Definitely weights off the shoulders for everyone. It's a little bit more joyful mood here this morning. It's kind of more laid back, but it's always good to get the quick win.
You boys you've been playing for 3 years now, still looking for that championship. How big would it be to go out on top this year in your senior year?
We've never got past semifinals, so even making it to finals, but definitely winning a championship would be a thing to remember with this team.
Being a Belleville grad, I know that the crowd is always behind you guys. How big has it been to have the fan support this season?
It's always nice when you have a big open ice hit and you get the crowds cheering and wooing, but yeah, it's definitely motivational for you. You go out there and you put it on a show for the fans, so I think it's pretty good.
Yeah. Has the mindset kind of changed now that you guys have that first one? Is it still one game at a time? Or?
It's definitely still one game at a time. You don't look anything further past that. You take the games as they come and get past that, and then you move on.
And you can catch Alex and Belleville play at Southdale Community Center this Tuesday at 4:15 p.m. as they take on the number 7 seed St. Paul's 2 in Game 1 of their best-of-3 series to kick off their quarterfinals. And there were a lot of great series in the first round all across the board in the Winnipeg High School Hockey League. So with that being said, we bring you a recap of what has happened in the playoffs so far. In the Platinum Promotions A Division Tier 1 Championship pool, we saw the number 1 seed Garden City take out number 8 Lord Selkirk 2-1 to advance to the semifinals, and we saw number 7 Dakota upset number 2 River East 2-0. We saw St. Paul's 1, who was the 3rd seed, take down number 6 Steinbach 2-0, and we saw number 4 Vincent Massey take out Oak Park, who was the 5th seed, 2-0 as well. So the semifinals are set there. We got number 1 Garden City taking on number 7 Dakota, and number 3 St. Paul's 1 taking on number 4 Vincent Massey. And then in Platinum Promotions A Division Tier 2 Championship pool, we saw number 12 JH Bruns take down number 13 Westwood in a 2-1 series win. So JH Bruns will now take on CJS, as CJS got the bye in the first round in the semifinals. And a semifinal series has already been decided as number 10 Shaftesbury took out number 11 Sturgeon Heights 2-0 in the semifinals to punch their ticket to the championship round. So they await the winner of number 9 CGS and number 12 JH Bruns. Moving down to the Winnipeg Free Press B Division pool, we saw number 2 Miles Mac take down number 15 St. John's Ravenscourt 2-0. So Miles Mac punched their ticket into the quarterfinals, and number 14 Calvin upset number 3 Springfield 2-1. Calvin moves on to play the number 1 seed Kildonan East in the quarterfinals. We saw number 4 Belleville beat number 13 West Kildonan 2-0. We saw number 5 Glenlawn take down number 12 Sanford 2-0. Number 6 Leo Remillard took down number 11 Pinawa 2-0. Number 7 St. Paul's 2 took out number 10 Stonewall 2-0. And then another upset that happened, number 9 CPET took out Gabriel Roy 2-0. And the quarterfinals are set. We got number 1 Kildonan East facing off against number 14 Calvin. Number 2 Miles Mack taking on number 9 CPET. Number 4 Beliveau taking on number 7 St. Paul's 2. And number 5 Glenlawn taking on number 6 Leo Remillard. And then moving on to our final division, which is the Price Division. Playoffs are getting underway in this division starting this week. And it's the quarterfinals, so lots of exciting hockey to be played in this bottom division, to be sure. So it starts off with number 1 Murdoch McKay taking on the number 8 St. Norbert. Number 2 Fort Richmond takes on number 7 John Taylor. Number 3 Transcona will take on number 6 Lyndon Christian. And number 4 Louis Riel will take on number 5 Lorette. All fighting to punch their ticket into the semifinals there. And if you want to stay up to date with this year's boys high school hockey playoffs, you can follow along at WHSHL.com, and you can also stay up to date with scores from around the league on the league's Twitter, which is at official WHSHL. And with that being said, that's it for me. For Amateur Sports TV, we thank you for tuning in and listening to the first ever installment of the Winnipeg High School Sports Show. And I've been your host, Graeme Forsyth. Until next time, I'm signing off.